everyone. Welcome to Wind Down Wednesdays. I'm your host, Paula Taylor, and this is episode 72. Tonight, we're going to talk about feeling gratitude in your body. And as I just mentioned, I have been busy, like busy. And there's a lot of change in my life right now. There's a lot of shifting happening and expansion happening personally and professionally. And it's bringing up a lot of fear in me. That's what I recognize this week. And even though these changes are good, this is an expansive change kind of in all the areas. That phrase, be careful what you wish for, kind of came into my mind because growth is hard. We've talked about that in the past. Growth can be really challenging. Expansion means moving outside of your comfort zone. We talked about that leap of faith process. And that's very much stepping outside of your comfort zone. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm in this stage of growth and it's amazing, but it's really kind of scaring me. And so normally I would kind of go into detail about that and we're not going to do that tonight because what I really want to do tonight is focus on the physical experience because this is kind of what I went through this week and how I arrived at this topic. And we may actually pull a tarot card. I'm going to see kind of how much time we have when I get to the end of my little spiel here. I was called to bring my cards. I've already shuffled them. They're here. So we may do a quick card pull. But what I want to talk about first is this idea that we get really stuck in our mental space. We get stuck in our thoughts. We get stuck in those repeating kind of mind tapes that play over and over again in our mental space. And this actually causes us a lot of anxiety, being kind of trapped in this mental space. And if you think about it energetically, I talk about this a lot in my book, Spiritual Integration. We don't occupy our bodies a lot of the times. A lot of the time, you may have heard the phrase, some talking heads, or some people call them floating heads. So essentially, like, most of us are kind of up in this space or sort of even outside of this space in our head. We're kind of hovering around the outside of our head or sort of barely in our head, kind of cycling around and around and around. And we're not occupying the rest of our space. We're not occupying our physical body. We're not occupying the energetic spaces within our body and around our bodies. And it's really easy to get in fear and anxiety when you don't have any room to expand. I'm in this process of expansion right now. You have to have space to expand into energetically. You have to have space and sometimes physically. And so if you don't have that space, then things are just bouncing around. Think about if you throw a ball, in a really small room, it's just going to bounce back and forth and bounce back and forth. Whereas if you're in like a stadium, it might take 3 or 4 seconds for the ball to get all the way to the other wall and then 3 or 4 more seconds for it to come back. So the more space you have, the more you're in your space, the more physical and energetic space you have, the more chance there is to kind of ground and expand and get out of that kind of anxiety cycle. So when we step out of our mind and into the body, this is actually an energetic practice. This is an energetic movement because our emotional and mental energy manifests in the body. That's kind of why a lot of us don't like to get into the body because we're not taking care of that kind of emotional, mental energy that's like stuck in different parts of our bodies. So it's unpleasant to be in our body. That's one of the reasons that we do this work because we want to expand and make space to physically be present in our body to release some of that emotional, mental energy that we're holding in physical form. As I mentioned, pretty much every week. Energy is physical matter. It's measurable. Well, it's getting to the point where it's measurable. And so this is a physical process. This is an energetic process. And through this physical process, we're able to make change in the mental and emotional fields. So what happened to me this week is that I didn't realize I was in fear at first. I was just like running around, getting all these things done, kind of focusing on the next thing I had to do. And maybe a little bit like a chicken with its head cut off, or maybe I should say a turkey with its head cut off because tomorrow's Thanksgiving. But I was feeling bad in my body. This is what finally got me kind of to realize what was going on mentally and emotionally, was checking in with my body. I was like, ooh, my stomach's really bothering me. Like, I'm having some digestive issues. My TMJ is like tight, and I'm having a TMJD flare up. I'm having a flare up of my TMJ disorder. My shoulders are tight, my neck is tight, my legs and hips are aching, and all of these things. At first I was like, wow, I'm really uncomfortable. I don't feel good. Why don't I feel good? And so when I really felt into that, when I checked in with my body, when I asked my body, what is going on here? Like, clearly something's not right. What is going on? The answer I got is that you are in fear. You are operating at this frequency of fear. You have kind of let fear sort of take over, and you're contracted. We talk about that a lot. Fear is a contraction, whereas love is an expansion. So when you're operating in love, then it's really easy to be expanded. Things start to relax. When you're operating in fear, everything gets really tight and painful. I've been really irritable. That's another sign of kind of being in fear. It's not always obvious that we're in fear. Just like it's not always obvious that we're in depression. Like, irritability can be a sign of depression, which is really, kind of at the root of depression is also fear. So I didn't recognize my fear until I checked in physically. And then, because it's Thanksgiving week, I've been seeing a lot of things about gratitude and kind of thinking about gratitude. And so I was thinking about gratitude kind of in my mental space. And it can be a very mental exercise. What are you grateful for? That's like a mind exercise. Like, you make a list, and people do gratitude journaling, and it's like, sometimes that's a mental exercise, and it can move energy. It can come into the physical body. But we don't often do that with intention. That's kind of what I realized, is that we sort of think of gratitude as this mental exercise. But then I started to wonder, what does gratitude feel like in the body? Because I was in this place, my body wasn't feeling good. I was feeling fearful. And so I asked myself, how would it feel in my body if I was able to transition out of fear and into gratitude? And so I started thinking about having gratitude for these shifts that are occurring in my life, this kind of growth period. I started looking at it as more of an expansion. And so when I thought about this, and then I came back into my body, I started asking myself, let's say, how does my stomach feel when I recognize and acknowledge my gratitude for this growth, even though it scares me? And whew, my stomach, just like relaxed and released. So I started kind of mentally going through the different parts of my body that were bothering me. How would my jaw feel if I recognize and acknowledge my gratitude for this growth, even though it scares me? And my jaw started to relax. So then I started to shift, first of all, back into my body, which is always the first step of getting out of that fight, flight, or freeze and into ease, is to come back into the physical body, is to kind of coax that scared little ego mind that's up here somewhere back into the body, back down into the lower body especially. And at first it was uncomfortable. I came back into my body and I was like, oh, but my body's like this. I don't want to be in my body. But then I started doing this gratitude exercise, this physical gratitude exercise, where I was physically checking in with my body, asking my body, how does gratitude feel in my belly? How does gratitude feel in my chest? How does gratitude feel in my shoulders? And pretty soon, I was no longer in that contracted state of fear. I was really in this very expanded, relaxed state. And what I noticed is that my stomach issues resolved almost right away. My TMJ released somewhat. It's always a little unhappy. And my insomnia that I'd been suffering, that I've mentioned a couple times in the last month or so, it's still a work in progress. I'm going to say that. Maybe it got a little bit better. Maybe that's kind of like a long-term gratitude practice maybe for me. But what I kind of gathered from all of this, or what came out of this for me, is this recognition, this remembering that we are physical beings. We are in a physical body. We are in a physical plane. Whether we like it or not, I've talked about that before. I had a lot of problems with my body for a long time. But when we focus on our physical experience, then we can actually shift that mental and emotional state. When we focus on our physical experience, we can find those places where we're holding mental and emotional energy that we want to release, that we're ready to release, and we can work through the body to release them. That's why sometimes when people are having physical body work, they have an emotional release. And sometimes they don't even know why. That's happened to me before. I think I've told this story, but I was receiving body work on the front of my lower leg one time, my tibialis anterior, and I just felt this big rush of emotion come up and I started crying. And I said to the practitioner, this was pretty early on in my body work experience, I said, what was that? And he said, oh, you just let something go. And that's one of the great things about working with the body is that you don't necessarily have to know what you're letting go. You can just let it go. And so for tonight's meditation, we're going to focus on the physical experience of gratitude in the body. We're going to come really present into our body. I'm betting that you've been busy this week. If you're celebrating a holiday this week, you maybe are traveling or have traveled, or you're rushing around trying to get things done. And that's very ungrounding. That's very disconnecting whenever we're in a hurry. And I am like chronically in a hurry. I am I don't have a lot of patience. I have much more patience than I used to, and I shouldn't say I don't have a lot of patience, but I have a tendency to be impatient. I have a tendency to want to get things done quickly. I want to be efficient. I want to let's get this going on. And even as I'm saying that, I can feel my shoulders tense up, and I can feel myself kind of coming up out of my body as I'm saying it. And the interesting thing is that when you're rushing around, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, if you're in a hurry to leave the house, that's when you're dropping things or you can't find something. When you take a deep breath and slow down and come back into your body, chances are you're actually going to be on time or early as opposed to late, because you're not doing those little things that you do from out of here, that you dropping your keys or forgetting to lock the door or whatever it is, forgetting to do whatever you do with your dog, put him in his crate or whatever. When you're present, when you're in the body, everything goes more smoothly. And it's hard at first. It's hard when you first start coming into your body. And our bodies are complex, and our bodies are going to have discomfort. That's one of the things as we age. I watch my little old man Schnauzer, and I can see that he's in pain, and I hate it. But I also know that he's just at an age where he's probably got some discomfort all the time. But I work with him energetically. I work with him physically through massage. And we try to release as much as we can. And that's all you can ask of yourself. Just to be present, to breathe deeply, and invite release. We can't force release, but we can invite release. So we're going to invite gratitude into our bodies tonight. All right, so I am going to do a card pull. And I did shuffled before, because on the last podcast where I shuffled, it sounded a little rough. So I apologize for that. If you're interested in my story about tarot or how I pull cards, I talked about that in depth in that episode where I did it's called Tarot Card Pull and Inner Child Meditation. I don't remember what number it is, but you can find it on Facebook. You can find that one on YouTube, and you can find it on anywhere you get podcasts. So I've already shuffled these just to set my intention again. I'm just going to kind of do just a real gentle kind of shuffle. And then I pull intuitively. So I'm just going to pick a card, and then we're going to see what happens. And this is way outside of my comfort zone. If you remember the last time I did this, I didn't do it live because I was worried that I would go, I don't know what to say, but we'll see what happens. You can't expand if you don't step out of your comfort zone. All right, we got one. Oh, this is so Thanksgiving-y. So this is the Ace of Earth. I'm going to hold it up to the camera, which, sorry, again, on the podcast, you kind of miss out. But I just think this is so beautiful because it's really reminds me of Thanksgiving and the harvest. And also, What comes to my mind here, and this is totally not related to anything, but that's how this works, is just the idea of I have an Indigenous Vision Quest Tarot deck. And this looks very Native American, everything, all of these cards here. So I actually, as I'm looking at this, I want to just take a minute and acknowledge the Native Americans and the indigenous people who came before us, and recognize that for a lot of them, Thanksgiving is not a time to give thanks. It's a reminder of all that they have lost. And so I'm just going to take a minute and send some energy into that, and send some love into that, and send some recognition, some acknowledgement that I know this is a hard time for them. And that's all I can do, is just send love. And then moving on from that, I see just a beautiful bit of abundance here. The colors are really vibrant. There's a giant ear of corn in the center of this. This is the Ace of Earth. So Earth is grounding. My rocks tonight, my crystals are all grounding crystals. I don't think I've ever set a grid up like this. It's all like first and third chakra rocks with like a little bit of selenite and quartz at the top. But I was called to be really grounded today. I'm wearing a grounding stone. I'm wearing dark colors, and earth is a grounding suit. It's kind of our connection to the earth. It's our physical connection. And we're going into, kind of, we're in this transition from fall into winter, and we're in this harvest time, and that really relates to kind of what I was talking about tonight in terms of harvesting gratitude. We're harvesting the work that we've done. I talked about having these shifts in my life. So I'm harvesting all this work that I've done, and I have the opportunity to expand into this harvest, to collect this bounty, to enjoy this beautiful ear of corn that looks delicious. But I have to step out of fear to do that. I have to be able to receive to do that. I have to open to receive my harvest. I have to open to experience the gratitude of all of these beautiful colors and the beautiful sky in this card, and recognize that it's there for me. I just need to pluck it. I need to pick up that ear of corn. I need to take my harvest and enjoy it with gratitude and with love. So let's meditate together. So this is meant to be a really grounding meditation. Find yourself a place where you can physically put some part of your body on the ground, if at all possible. Feet on the ground if you're sitting in a chair, bottom on the ground if you're sitting on the ground, or lie on the ground if you prefer to lie down. But we're going to start tonight with the awareness of whatever part of our body is touching the earth. We want to recognize that beautiful bounty that the earth offers us and have gratitude for that connection. So if your feet are on the ground, really feel where your feet are touching the ground. If it's your bottom or your whole back, whatever's on the ground, really feel that connection. And you can imagine that beautiful ear of corn. It was a multicolored, beautiful ear of corn that we looked at on our tarot card this evening. Imagine someone's offering that corn to you. Maybe it's the earth itself offering that bounty to you. And ask yourself, how does gratitude feel in my feet? How does gratitude feel in my connection to the earth? How does my physical body feel when I am connected to the earth, to the ground, to that rich, fertile soil that gives us so much abundance when we're open to receive it? And as you're ready now, take a few nice deep breaths. Take those oxytocin breaths, drawing the breath into the belly through the nose and then sighing it out with an audible ha. Ha. Inviting your body to come into ease here. You can make any movements your body might be calling for. Just get really settled. Stay connected through whatever part of that body is that's touching the ground. Stay heavy and relaxed here. Let go of anything that you were just doing before we started. Let go of anything that's happening next, or tomorrow, or the next day. Just come fully present into the body here. Check in with the body. Scan through your body. Notice where you're having any pain or discomfort, where you're holding tension. Notice if there are any areas of your body you're afraid to check in with. And be gentle with yourself here, but allow yourself to ask those areas. How would you feel if we invited in gratitude? How does gratitude feel in this part of my body that I'm afraid of, or that I'm afraid to check in with? And if that's not coming up for you, then go to a part of the body that feels tense or in pain. Let your intuition draw your attention to whatever part of the body is asking for it. Don't think too much about this. And take a deep breath. Draw that breath directly into this part of the body and then sigh it out with that audible ha sound. Bringing oxytocin in, vibrating the vagus nerve, bringing your body into ease. And then ask this part of your body again, how would this part of my body feel if I was in gratitude? How does gratitude feel in this part of my body? And don't expect change here. Don't ask your body to change. Just ask your body how gratitude feels in that particular area. And then take a few deep breaths. Notice if there's a shift, but don't ask for one. Don't try to force one. Sometimes when we focus on an area of pain or discomfort, initially that pain or discomfort gets worse. Don't take that as a sign that you're on the wrong path here. In fact, that's a sign of resistance. So just keep your awareness in this part of the body. Take deep breaths and continue to ask this part of the body, how does gratitude feel in this part of my body? What does gratitude look like in this part of my body? And don't get into the mental gymnastics of what you're grateful for. Just assume there's gratitude. There is gratitude to be had. And you are accessing that gratitude and you're offering it to this part of your body. You're giving gratitude into this part of the body now. With, again, no expectation of change. You're not trying to bend your body to your will here. You're just offering gratitude. If you'd like, you can say thank you to this part of your body for the service it provides to you. Again, staying in the body here. Don't get too far into the mental thought process. Just say thank you. And notice if there's any shift. Again, we're not pushing for a shift. We're just noticing. Perhaps the shift is in your mind space. Perhaps your mind is becoming calmer. Perhaps your overall body is feeling heavier and more relaxed. Perhaps you're feeling in less of a hurry than you did when we started. Sometimes these are the shifts that happen even when we're focused on the body. And I want you to bring your awareness now to the belly. You can put your hands on your belly, any part of the belly. This is a part of the body that most of us don't send a lot of gratitude to. We don't feel gratitude here necessarily. So begin as we did before. Just first ask this part of your body. Ask your belly, how does gratitude feel in my belly? And perhaps your body will answer. with a shift. Perhaps your body will answer by, again, bringing more silence and stillness into the mind. How does gratitude feel in my belly? Continue to take these oxytocin breaths as needed. It's a great way to release. We're actually doing some heavy duty energetic work here. So you might start feeling some tension or some emotions coming up, especially from the belly. Just keep breathing. Don't get called into the mind. Don't start thinking about what's coming up. Just feel the physical sensation and breathe into it. How does gratitude feel in my belly? And then let's move into sending gratitude to our belly. Again, we're not thinking about this. We're not getting called into years of programming about our bodies. Just say thank you to your belly for the service it provides you, for the function it performs. Your belly works hard for you. Thank it. Send gratitude to your belly. And as you're ready, then bring your awareness into your neck and shoulders. Maybe your jaw, this kind of general area of tension in the upper body that most of us carry. You can include your chest and upper back here. Take a couple of deep breaths in this area. Drawing the breath directly into whatever area has most discomfort or pain or tension. And then ask yourself, how does gratitude feel in my neck? How does gratitude feel in my jaw? How does gratitude feel in my shoulders and in my chest and in my upper back? How does gratitude feel in my upper body? And then breathe deeply and wait for an answer. And again, maybe your answer is just a release of tension. Maybe it's that beautiful deep breath that brings you further into this moment. Don't expect anything here, but notice how you feel. Notice how your body feels. How does gratitude feel in your upper body? And then as you're ready, send gratitude into your neck and your jaw, your shoulders, your chest and upper back. Thank this area of your body for holding on to so much of that mental and emotional energy. And invite this part of your body to release whatever it's ready to let go of. Again, without getting pulled into the mental aspect of this, just fully in the body here. Invite your body to do what's best for your body. Invite your body to release what it's ready to release and let go of control here. Let your body take charge. And continue to breathe those deep breaths as you need to. And now bringing your awareness into the hips and the pelvis. This is another area of the body that we tend to avoid. We don't spend a lot of time grounded down into our hips and pelvis. So take a deep breath or two here, drawing that breath into the hips, into the pelvis. You can include the legs here, the upper legs and the knees, lower legs and feet, the whole lower body included now. And then ask yourself, how does gratitude feel in my hips? How does gratitude feel in my pelvis? How does gratitude feel in my legs, my knees, my feet? How does gratitude feel in my lower body? And then take some nice deep breaths and invite your body to be in control, to take charge here. Send gratitude into your lower body, into your hips and your pelvis and your legs that work so hard for you to keep your body functioning, to keep you in motion, to support you in the world. And invite this part of your body to release anything it's holding on to that it no longer needs. Again, stay out of the mental space here and just let this be completely about your body. Let your body release whatever it's meant to, whatever it'd like to. And then coming back into the belly once more, invite this part of the body to release anything it would like to let go of. Stay out of the mental space, stay in the body, stay in the belly, stay in the gratitude that you've built in this area through this meditation, and invite the belly of its own accord to release whatever it would like to let go of, and stay out of it. Keep your mind out of it. Keep your little controlling ego out of it. Just be completely in the body here. Let the body use its own intelligence to release energy as it's called to, as it's ready to. And you might find little movements happening in your body. When we work with energy in this way, sometimes the body will move or twitch as it releases. Just sit without judgment here. What a beautiful gift. Sit in gratitude to your beautiful body that works so hard for you. Let go of all the things about your body that bother you functionally or aesthetically, and just let your body be as it wishes to be for 3 to 5 deep breaths here. Perhaps your body's calling for some movement. Perhaps you'd like to bring your awareness into one of the parts we revisited. Throughout the meditation, you can revisit any of the parts we visited in the meditation. Stay out of the mind space. Stay out of the head here. Unless you're focusing on a muscle or the jaw, the neck, the throat. Stay out of that mental space, that brain space. And just stay completely in the body, letting your body use its beautiful, intelligent design to invite this gratitude into every cell, into every particle, to all your organ systems. Just giving yourself a few moments to be fully present in the body now, to bring that gratitude into the body, to open to gratitude, the physical sensation of gratitude in your body. Whatever that feels like for you, without judgment. Invite gratitude further into the body here, into any areas that are still calling for it, to any areas of tension you still feel. Again, releasing any judgment, any expectation that the body will change, just allowing the body to receive here, allowing the body to receive this beautiful bounty of gratitude that you're offering to it tonight. Breathe deeply as you'd like for the last few moments here. Make any sounds you'd like for the last few moments here. Take a last deep oxytocin breath. Stay in your body here. There's plenty of time to come back into the mind space. Carry this beautiful gratitude, this physical practice of gratitude forward into the rest of this evening and as far into tomorrow as you can. Continue checking in with your body, taking deep breaths, inviting gratitude into your body, acknowledging the feeling of gratitude in your physical body. Invite this expansion into your physical space. This is your space. You deserve the chance to occupy your own space. As you're ready, you can begin to move your fingers and toes, rotate your hands and wrists, your ankles and feet, maybe move your neck around a little bit, move your head. Being very reverent of your body here, and again, staying in the body as much as you can for as long as you can. Sat Nam. The truth of your identity is that you are a spiritual being in a physical body, and you deserve to occupy both of those spaces physically, completely, and with love. As you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Have a beautiful rest of your week. Allow your body to fill with gratitude. Allow yourself to stay in the body for as long as you can. Have a beautiful night. Have a grateful rest of your week, and I will see you next week for Wind Down Wednesday.